Big show for you today, big exclusives. We are calling this show Ripped from the Headlines because we have people this hour who've made some big headlines. Before we get going though, we made some headlines of our own, Tam Fam. I was traveling across the country for the tour of my children's book, Harlem Honey. So, here's the deal. Last Saturday made headlines in Houston. I was the keynote speaker for the NABJ conference. They surprised me. Texas State Representative Ron Reynolds gave me a proclamation declaring Tamron Hall Day in Houston. I was like, wait, what? And then they gave me the state flag that had flown over the Capitol now is in my possession. That's a surprise face. I was like, what just happened? I didn't even know this was happening. I also had a beautiful book signing at Holy Family Church. Thank you for everybody who showed up. Kindred Stories hosted me. Shout out to our affiliate station, ABC 13 in Houston. Then I was with Moses. We then flew straight to New Orleans to hang out there. We had a chance to have a beautiful event at the Garden District Bookshop, reading to the kids there. It was amazing to be there. WGNO, our station, our home, the Tamron Hall show. So it was a wild weekend. I thought I was gonna have different headlines when my son had a meltdown on the plane, but we survived. We survived. As I mentioned, this is a Rip from the Headlines series where we take you inside the stories, grabbing attention on our news feeds right now, starting with our first guest. Full disclosure, I consider her to be a friend, but I'm also able to be objective and fair in interviews. She is one of the biggest names in the WWE, celebrated for her bold entrances, her versatile moves in the ring. Leah Van Dale, known to her fans as Carmella, is a WWE legend who has won multiple titles, including the SmackDown Women's Championship. I gave her those moves. So, we've gotten to know her over the years on the show. Season 4, we celebrated with her and her husband, former WWE wrestler turned commentator, Matt Polinsky, as we did our first ever gender reveal on the show. Then last season, the Tam Fam got to meet Leah and Matt's son, Dimitri, for the first time. And now, Leah's making headlines again after a shocking exit from the WWE in late February when her contract was not renewed. It comes after an injury she sustained during childbirth, which left her sidelined for months. Her abrupt exit has left Leah feeling blindsided and believing that having a baby came at the cost of her WWE career. Tam Fam and a TV broadcast exclusive. Please welcome Leah Van Dale back to the show! Wow. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. I'm curious always when people decide to speak out, which is what you are doing. Why now?
I just felt like it was important to speak my truth. I feel like as a woman, as an athlete, these things still happen. It's 2025, and I felt like I wanted to share my journey. I have a platform. I have a lot of female followers, and I've been very open about my journey to trying to get pregnant with my miscarriages and my postpartum period, and now I just want to speak my truth.
So, you know, interesting, as I said to the audience, I considered you a friend. We were there, our first ever baby reveal on the show. We checked in after you gave birth. When you got pregnant, did it ever cross your mind that it might have an impact on your career?
Never. I really didn't, because there have been women who have had babies under contract and gone back. It has happened. Not a lot, but there have been several women who have had a baby and gone back. So I thought, well, I'll do the same exact thing.
Is there a maternity leave with WWE?
So it kind of varies from person to person. For me, basically, I got 7 weeks off after I had my son, and then they reinstated my contract. So I was unaware that my contract was reinstated after that, but that's just how they chose to do it for me.
Going back to when you discovered you were pregnant, because as you pointed out, you've been very open, miscarriages, which gave, I think, was such an empowering message to reveal that, to uplift other families who've gone through that. So you were very open about that. You get ready to give birth. Some companies, you know, you go into HR and you say, how many weeks do I have? Can I use my sick days? Was there a conversation of what this looks like when you return to the ring?
So I am so grateful because when I did tell them that I was pregnant, they paid me while I was out. So I couldn't obviously wrestle while I'm pregnant. Yeah. So that I'm very grateful for because they didn't have to do that.
So it seemed positive in the beginning.
Very positive.
So you go into labor. You were in labor for how many hours?
Well, I got to the hospital on a Monday and I didn't have him until a Wednesday. So
you heard all the women in here gasp.
Not fun.
So hours. Were there complications?
So my labor stalled, basically. So I was progressing, everything was going well, and then I was stalled. And so he was just very stubborn. He did not want to come out.
He wasn't ready.
He was like, no, not today.
Because you had such a long labor, it set off a chain of other things in your body, including, do you describe it as an injury? What happened?
Yeah, for sure, it's a birth injury. So basically, I was pushing for over 3 hours, and there was a nerve compressed behind my knee because I was pushing for so long, and I got what's called deep fibular nerve damage. And basically, those nerves were damaged, the nerves that control the top of your foot. So I couldn't walk for weeks after I had my son. My foot was just kind of dragging along.
And that has to be such an out of body, because here you are with this baby that you've waited to bring into this world, but you also recognize that there's something wrong.
Yeah.
The doctors, what did they say? How long did they say it would take for you to recover from it?
That's the thing that was so frustrating, is everyone was kind of pointing the finger at everyone else. The anesthesiologist was saying it wasn't them because I did have an epidural. I was in labor for so long. I was like, give me something for this pain. Yeah. But they said it wasn't them, and no one could really tell me what was wrong. And it took months and months and months of me advocating and seeing specialists and getting tests and MRIs and x-rays to finally, because they just said, oh, it'll resolve in 6 to 8 weeks.
So they tell you 6 to 8 weeks is gonna,
it'll be fine.
Okay, so 6 to 8 weeks is what doctors told you it would take for your body to heal.
Yeah.
You're welcoming the baby in the world. At some point you have to, I would imagine, think, let me contact WWE.
Yeah, I mean, I told them right away. I think it was the day I had my son, I told them. And then once I found out that this wasn't really progressed, like I wasn't getting better, I was open with them the entire time.
So the whole time you're trying to be happy with the baby, but recognizing, because at the end of the day, you're an athlete, right?
Yeah.
People don't understand. You are flying through the air. You are doing these kicks. It is physical. There have been athletes and wrestlers who've had injuries that ended their careers. Yeah. So this is physicality here. Mm-hmm. Your body now is injured due to childbirth.
Yeah.
A little over a month ago, you found out that your contract was not going to be renewed with WWE. You got an unexpected phone call. What happened in that call?
In the call, they said my contract was up in about 13 days and that they would not be renewing it.
Flat stop. That's what they told you.
That's it, yeah. And they didn't give me a reason. Obviously, I'm assuming it's because I'm not
Did
clear.
you ask for a reason?
At the time, I was so dumbfounded. I had no idea what to even say. I was just in a shock. And then later, they put me in touch with legal. That was the only thing they did. They didn't, unfortunately, give me a reason.
You offered to return to work behind the scenes while you recovered, but they said no.
So I was about 6 or 7 months postpartum, I offered to go back. I said, I know I'm not clear to wrestle, but I'd love to do anything that I can do to contribute. Because again, I didn't want them to think that I was just trying to collect a paycheck and sit at home. I wanted to contribute. I tried to be a manager and manage a tag team and just do anything that I possibly could to go back. And we were having great conversations, and then it was just kind of radio silence, and I hadn't heard back from anybody.
Prior to giving birth, were there any issues with you and WWE?
No, but when I got pregnant, I was supposed to be in WrestleMania that year, which is our biggest show of the year. I was factored in. I was always on good terms.
So you were the star, one of the stars. A star in my eye. You were one of the stars. You have the baby, and things, from your view, change.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate, and it's a reality that I feel women, especially athletes, unfortunately have to deal with. As I mentioned, there have been women that have gone back.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, but also they didn't have an injury, and I've never been injured in WWE, but I got injured having a baby.
How many years in?
I wrestled for 10 years.
10 years, no injuries.
Yeah.
Wow. We reached out to the WWE and they declined to comment. So it's unclear why they ended Leah's contract. Coming up, why she believes This is the result of her having a baby and why she is speaking up for other moms and creating what she refers to as a safe space for moms to connect and communicate. Next.